My chosen topic is intervention of campus rape. I chose this topic because I believe not enough people are aware of the statistics and possible ways to help or the programs available on college campuses. I'll also cover sexual assault in general a little bit. The advocacy group I would establish would be based primarily on public awareness at the start. As it grew, we would try to push over to social action and making changes. It would start off with 3 or 4 people that the topic was important to, me included obviously, and we would do 2 things from the start: website development and spreading the word through social media and word of mouth. The social issue of intervening in campus rape aligns with the group's potential goals because our group will be created solely for this issue. The position of this group is simply that not enough people are aware of how prevalent the issue is. I mean, we'd realize that people would know about the general issue, sexual assault and campus rape, but we'd want them to know that every 98 seconds there's an assault, and every 8 minutes it's done to a child. And that kind of public awareness, that kind of knowledge, is what we'd shoot for. And we'd want to keep them informed with as much up-to-date information as we could get. That's what our goal would be. Public awareness. Public awareness on this issue, while it is growing, is still lower than what it should be. Because of that, assaults are still going unhindered and unheeded. That would be our position. That would be what we'd base the whole creation of the group around. Another goal of this group would be to show as many people as we possibly can the depths and effects of sexual assault and campus rape. On the stereotypes, one of the biggest one is victim blaming. The fact that the way the victim dresses, male or female, is why they're assaulted. There's an art exhibit, or they call it an art exhibit. It's mainly just an exhibit called What Were You Wearing? It was started in Arkansas in 2013, and they go around to different campuses that have a sexual assault program, and they put this exhibit up, and it's a collection of 18 outfits. And with these outfits is a description from the victim, no names obviously, but they're all college students, or for the most part, that have been assaulted on campus. And one of the outfits is a red dress. One of them is a yellow t-shirt with no jeans because they can't remember the jeans they were wearing. And one of them is a black Wonder Woman t-shirt and blue jeans. And they show this to show that regardless of what you're wearing, the assault is going to happen simply because the attacker wants to assault. There's a reference I use, one by Stop Women Violence, and they cover the fact that one of the myths or stereotypes is that the men that do these attacks, they do not have the self-control and self-discipline to prevent themselves from acting on their desires. So they discussed how this stereotype leads to the thought that women cannot dress how they like because men can't control themselves. So that's a huge stereotype. Another one is that gay men and gay women are not raped or rapists. I got this next information from the Human Rights Campaign website. 44% of lesbians and 61% of bisexual women experience rape, while 26% of gay men and 37% of bisexual men experience rape or physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner, by someone they know, not a stranger. And as for college students, we'll continue with those statistics. This next information came from the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, or RAIN for short. 11.2% of all students experience rape or sexual assault, and that's graduate and undergraduate students. For graduate and professional students, it's 8.8% of females and 2.2% of males. That covers another stereotype that men are not raped. And it's not really a stereotype as more of a disregarding of information, because common sense tells you that, hey, women can't be the only ones that get raped. But you listen to the news, you read reports, and all you hear is women getting raped or women getting assaulted. But no one covers the men. So it's kind of a disregard of information rather than a pure stereotype. Among undergraduate students, 24% of females and 6% of males experience rape. It's back to the female versus male numbers. 1 in 6 women get raped. And I think it's somewhere around 1 in 33 men get raped. Just think about the United States. Last I checked, 326 and some odd million people lived in this country. 119 million of those men. So that's 39 million men that have or will have experienced sexual assault or rape. Doesn't seem a small amount, does it? Historical and modern significance of this topic. The historical significance of this issue would be just how much the idea and knowledge of the issue as rape in general especially of college rape, has changed over the years, and how this knowledge has boosted the reasons to intervene and prevent assault from happening. There's a study I used for a source. It's called The Psychological Impact of Rape by Julia Resnick, I believe. This was done back in 1993, and she covers exactly what her title says, the psychological impact of rape, both on college students above or below, older or younger. And one of the things she says in there is that before rape was really studied, before it was considered a traumatic and harmful event, it was considered the exact opposite. It was just unwanted sex. It was nothing more than he had sex with me, I didn't want it. That's how people looked at it, except for the victims. To everyone that was not involved, it was simply just unwanted sex between two people. And as people began to study it, as they began to look into the effects and the causes for rape, it grew to become more well known that, hey, this is harmful, this hurts, and this is not good. And so that began to make people say, hey, maybe we should listen to him. Maybe we should step up and say, hey, no, you can't do that. And intervene and stop it whenever we see it. That's also a huge modern significance due to this increased awareness and also the acceptance of intervening and helping the victims. It's led to an increase in intervention programs across college campuses in the U.S. Bystander intervention is one of the most well-known and well-documented programs among college campuses. There's a study called Predicting Bystander Behavior to Prevent Sexual Assault on College Campuses, The Role of Self-Efficacy and Intent by Sarah McMahon. She studied the effects of bystander intervention programs on the students, and it was like 61% of the students have said that this program makes a difference. It makes them want to help, and it gives them a way to help. Most of these programs, especially bystander intervention, is focused on incoming freshmen. According to the article, Stepping Up to Stop Sexual Assault, it's a New York Times article. A study done by United Educators, which is an insurance company owned by like 1,200 member colleges and universities, found that 63% of accusers in sexual assault cases are first-year students. That is why most of these programs are focused on incoming freshmen. It's a huge number. The theory that I'm using to support the intervention of campus rape is the exchange theory. I've chosen this theory to support this topic because it focuses specifically on rewards and punishment. Central to this theory is the idea that an interaction that elicits approval from another person is more likely to be repeated than an interaction that elicits disapproval. Basically, intervening results in a reward, approval from those around you and your friends and your family and the victims, and it keeps negative reactions to a minimum. Yeah, you'll have the disapproval of whoever you keep from doing the assault. Ooh, nothing major. You can get over that. But if you ignored it and acted oblivious to what you were seeing, you'd be disapproved of by everyone that noticed what you were doing and noticed that you were just acting like you didn't see anything. And there was possibly other negative reactions. Put simply, positive outweighs the negative. That instinctively makes you want to do the right thing, which is intervene and try to stop the possible assault. An example would be asking someone out on a date. If you went up to this girl or this guy and said, hey, you want to go on a date with me? And they said yes, and it went well, or even if it didn't, that will lead you to do it again, whether with that same person or with someone completely different. But it's the same vice versa. If the answer was a sharp no way, you'd consider that a disapproval or a punishment, and that would make you unlikely to ask again. To make that easier to understand, have you noticed people that have relationships after relationships? These people have relationships because it's rewarding to them. They get pleasure and approval from this. While the people that do not have many relationships don't have many for the opposite reason. It's not rewarding for them because the rejection is seen as a disapproval. So they try to keep from doing so again. I chose this theory to support it because we could use this theory that reward is better than punishment by doing more than just a handshake and a smile and a clap on the back. Make it more rewarding for the people that step up and intervene in the assaults. By doing so, we could potentially boost intervention on college campuses even more.